share, I don't even know how many from our community, about what's saving you right now. Where do you see divine fingerprints in the big and or small things of your life? And while it might have been my suggestion on staff, and I get the extreme privilege of maybe getting to see the first draft of what people share, it's been a selfish endeavor, I'm not going to lie, because just when I need it most, that email will pop in or that call will happen, and I get to see how God is showing up in your life, and it is the great reminder to me of the goodness and presence of God. But especially in the course of this past year with the pandemic, I've never taken the mic myself in this, and there just happened to be an opening. And we, for various reasons, between closing down our gathering because of the pandemic and the nature of being a musician and a worship leader for many years, kind of the whole point of being a musician is getting to collaborate, play with other people, sing with other people. That's like the best part. I mean, the rest is kind of lonely by yourself just practicing. It's more like woodshedding than being in a band or playing collectively. And so the minute that we had to start trying to record songs from home, to lead worship on video, everything about technology is my nemesis. And it's where it's always gone downhill for me as a worship leader, because at my core, I grew up playing piano and I like to sing. And the minute I would get in bands and they'd be like, can you do that synth part? Can you do all that stuff? I'm like, I'm not Inspector Gadget, okay? I just play the piano, so leave me alone. I don't have all that stuff. And I still struggle, if you don't see. I think I started a metronome up here accidentally in between songs because I'm awesome at tech. So when we had to start recording songs from home, I mean, it was just horrendous for me. Then, some of you know our story, but some trees fell in our house last May. Then we lost our home, so then we moved out, working from home without the home, with the kids schooling from home. In different homes, there were several like Airbnb situations, and we kind of had to abscond and just grab things as we were leaving. And my son was the one that suggested being sure that I got my keyboard out of our house so we could still play. And I remember us being in one of the rental houses, and I hadn't even plugged the keyboard in. And then I realized I hadn't been singing either. And then I realized I think I've probably gone like a month, maybe longer, and I haven't even sung. Not in my car, not at home. And then it kind of hit me. It's like, I think I even remember reaching out to Donna saying, I just feel like I've lost my song. You know that feeling where it's just not in you. And there's a lot of things you can fake. Music collectively is not one of them. You know, if you don't feel like singing, it sounds like it. And then there was this moment that I was reminded that just before the pandemic started, we had auditioned some new Watershed band members. And a few of them had not even gotten a chance to play in normal Watershed. So they got to start playing during when we were doing like weird recordings here. Instrumentalists, and then there were some more vocalists that came along throughout the pandemic that had been in process of meeting up and I hate to even say audition, I guess more of like a rehearsal, a get to know you rehearsal. And so in the middle, like I'd say of maybe the fall, late summer, one of those nights, Austin and I got together with 4 of the new band members who were vocalists. And we got in this room, and everybody was spread as far as we could be, and everybody had masks on, which was really hard, I remember. Ashley was part of that night. And we just brought different songs and said, let's just get to know each other. And I could tell you a lot, but what I want to say is that night stands out in my mind as the moment I felt like I got my song back. And the reason being, and I want to share this, what's saving me right now and has been are the new Watershed band members. Of course, the ones that have been around a while too, but let me tell you why. They're all different ages, all different races, all different orientations, all different relationship statuses. Some have kids, some don't. Some want to adopt, some may never have any. All different backgrounds as far as faith goes. I would say the common denominator is that most of everyone that has shared has had some kind of slightly traumatic experience with church. So I remember that night when we were circled up very far apart. None of them had sung together before. And one at a time, they started sharing their story and some of the reasons that they had stayed away from church, but also the reasons that they had been reticent about even wanting to come forward. They'd been at Watershed for a while, but hadn't come forward to sing or to participate because they didn't maybe see themselves reflected in who was up here. And as they began to sing, I was so moved. I was trying to not get just be a mushy mess up here. But at the end of the rehearsal, one of the vocalists said, I just want to thank you. If it goes no further than this one rehearsal, and there's some more, Ursula, if you want to show the rest of this is Ashley, Carolina. There's about 9 of them if you want to just go through them all there. Hannah. There's Joanne. There's more if you want to keep going. Yeah. There's Mary. So a few more. Yeah. Paul plays guitar. There's Taylor. There's Tyler. There's Tony. He played last week. You probably heard. So at the end of the rehearsal, one of the guys said, I just want to say one thing. If it goes no further than this rehearsal we had tonight, a long time ago, I was asked, to not be part of my worship team at my church because of my orientation. And so I didn't ever think I would ever sing in church again. And this means a lot to me. And then one of the other singers said, I was thinking the same thing. I just didn't know if I should say it. And then one of the girls said, Carolina, she used to be a pastor in a church, and she was asked to leave for one of the same reasons, and said, I really want to hug everybody right now, but I know we're not supposed to hug. And I'm not sure. Ashley just said, I want to hug everybody too, and I'm not sure if we did or not. I think we didn't. I think we just air hugged. We won't tell. And I left that room, this room, feeling it was one of the most holy moments I've experienced in a long time. And then getting to hear Tony and Paul and then Hannah and Taylor just joined the group. During the pandemic, they started attending online. Hannah and Jordan didn't know each other. They're both pastors' kids, both kind of left the church and are coming back to the church. And in the process of just getting those little rehearsals to sit down together and hear stories, I think, you have been who we have been waiting for. You have filled voids we knew existed, but you have gone over and above. The gifting that each of you bring has been something incredible. And Mary, who works in our tech booth and runs sound, there were some weeks that you guys weren't in the room, but we needed more harmony, and she just grabbed a mic and started singing, and she can play guitar. So she'll be up here with us soon, but she's been kind of doing double duty from the sound booth. But I just want to remind you, if you have kind of felt whatever the metaphor for you is of losing your song, of kind of losing your joy, of losing sight, that God has amazing goodness and relationships and people in store that you didn't know existed. People who have musical tastes and interests and are much younger or older or whatever that I had to Google half the bands they were talking about that, and I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I know what you're talking about. I have no idea. That it's in store for you. And so I just want to give you a moment to reflect on how the divine is showing up and where God is saving you right now in your life.